to the Halcyon Razor review. This week we're going to be focusing on a game that's got it all really. Superpowers, interactive backgrounds, immense set pieces, men in tights! On this episode I'm going to tackle a game that has spawned a bit of a culture of being a little bit limp-wristed after the initial installment was met with lukewarm reviews. Do you want a game where you can finally settle those old age superhero disputes? Flash versus Green Arrow, Batman versus Superman, Catwoman versus Wonder Woman, Grundy versus Bane? Have you ever felt the need to throw down with powers of immense abilities? Have you ever wanted to click virulently at the controller because it won't do what you're telling it to do? No, neither have I. Well, now you have the chance to do so, with DC and Netherrealm's Injustice: Gods Among Us. Netherrealm's released Mortal Kombat 9, which was met with almost unanimous praise, and in order to capitalise on this, DC decided to ask Netherrealm to produce their most recent game. I present to you Injustice: Gods Among Us. Let's check it out. The gameplay in Injustice: Gods Among Us is varied to say the least. It has the standard combat fare from the original Mortal Kombat 9 game, with a few other additions to try and make the game feel more comic booky. There's environmental damage that can be accumulated by interacting with the background, things like throwing cars, interacting with jets, pressing buttons. There's also back juggles that allow you to get out of danger when you're cornered against a wall. There's also certain circumstances whereby you can utilise the environment to push your opponent into another aspect of the map. This is something you've seen from the Dead or Alive games previously. That's a nice addition to help make the combat feel more varied and allows you an opportunity to sway the opponent into a position where you can potentially capitalise on a mistake, or if you're on the receiving end of an ass whooping, then you can counteract the juggles and numerous combos that your opponent might be utilising at the time. However, the combat in of itself isn't without its flaws. For some reason it feels very clunky and disjointed. The way the combos are structured is in such a way that it makes it feel very difficult to slot in and out of combos easily without tremendous amount of practice. It's not a game that you can pick up and play particularly easy, and will take you at least 4 or 5 matches to get the hang of things before you really feel comfortable and at ease with the combat. However, once you get into it, you will find very quickly you'll have character preferences stronger than perhaps in other games, whereby your own particular habits and your own sense of style when it comes to fighting games will shine through. I personally am a massive Batman fan, but I can't stand the way he plays in Injustice. Personally, my character of choice is always Green Lantern, given the fact that he has probably the most favourable mix-up of ranged and close quarters combat in the game. The most OV character has to be Deathstroke. Oh my days, the guy knows how to, he just knows how to spam the guns, spams his sword. It's really difficult at times in order to counteract a really skillful Deathstroke player, or indeed someone that knows how to utilise Ares in the right sense, seeing as he has the ability to teleport, thereby covering a lot of ground. This leads me on to another point. There is definitely characters within the game that are more suitable to others, sure, but there are also more characters that have really bad balancing issues in terms of their fairness. You'll find yourself in a position sometimes whereby someone will be spamming the ranged attacks to their absolute glee, and there's nothing you can do about it considering that you're a close quarters combat guy. It's one of those things you'll just have to learn to cope with, especially as well. Another annoying aspect is the environmentals. They deal a tremendous amount of damage, and with someone who's skillful at juggling in and out of the environmental damages, there are times when you can lose the fight within a few moments just by standing there. In addition to the main games, there's the Challenge Tower, which has a myriad of side quests and missions and stars that you can accumulate for additional skins, extra music, and also concept art that allows you to see what the characters could have looked like. There's extensive DLC which allows you to take on even more skins, additional characters, extra missions and things of that nature, along with extra mini missions during the campaign as well that had helped to add that sense of superhero feeling, which in my mind should have been included on a more regular basis if they wanted to continue this feel of superheroes versus other superheroes. They work for the most part, but again they feel slightly unfinished and uninspired, something that could be elaborated on in later games if they choose to do so. The presentation of the game is fairly impressive. I wouldn't say the graphics are amazing. They try to balance the in-game engine with the combat engine, but weirdly enough, when the characters are fighting, the graphics seem to take a step up, whereas in the story mode in particular, the graphics seem blocky, they seem cartoonish, they seem The animations as well feel very stiff and cumbersome, and it's very difficult to put your finger on, because in free frame it doesn't look too bad. The character models themselves look quite detailed, but it's just the little things, the way the movements are unrealistic. And again, it's one of the things that the game lacks in terms of its feel when compared to Mortal Kombat, which has a slightly looser feel to it at times. The characters themselves are well designed, but again, my gripe is that a lot of the male characters, for whatever reason, seem to have incredibly strong chins. It's like watching a series of over-muscled quagmires battle it out at times. However, as far as the character models go, there are some design choices which leave a lot to the imagination. Superman's design, for instance, is very, very peculiar. Batman's design choices at times are very, very peculiar, with his cowls looking oddly deformed for whatever reason. There are a lot, and Wonder Woman as well. Wonder Woman has the look of China, the wrestler, about her for some reason. Out of all the ways they could have designed her, again, very, very peculiar. But these are just minor gripes. In terms of the presentation style, it's more about the powers and the diversity of them that will keep you playing, considering that each character does feel unique and looks unique as well. They sound unique, the voice actors return, giving reasonable performances, nothing along the lines of the Arkham games in terms of the gravitas and the drama of the situation. It's a very, very Justice League comic book, the animated series kind of feel, but it has a almost childlike feel to it. Nothing ever really feels tremendously serious, especially considering the way that the story mode itself is presented. The thing that saves this game for me is the story. Now, while it's not the strongest by any stretch of the imagination, it's certainly a welcome addition to a game franchise like this, whereby you're along for the ride. You get to play as 10 to 15 different characters along the story mode itself. The story does ruin the mystique somewhat by letting you know this is an Elseworld story, so none of what happens is canon, in the sense that everything is going to wrap up nicely towards the end. In fact, it follows the storyline to the DC animated cartoon Injustice quite closely, whereby Superman has a fall from grace and becomes a tyrannical dictator. Again, Netherrealm knew the expectation when they were developing this game that people would be looking at this as a continuation of the Mortal Kombat game, so they're a victim of their own success in that sense. It's manageable and workable. For whatever reason, the game just doesn't hit you where you live in the story mode, with the exception of one moment in particular. Poor Shazam. Poor Shazam. Oh my days. If you ever want to see a cartoon character butchered when you really didn't see it, watch Flashpoint, the cartoon, but then check Shazam's death out in this. It's super sad. Super sad. Really unexpected as well.
Do this. Have you gone nuts? Lois would never want it. Just... Anyone else?
But in summary, the story is good enough for what it is. It's a shame that it lacks any kind of drama. It lacks that real punch that takes a story from being good to being truly memorable. You don't think about it once you put the game down, and the story itself will probably only take you about 4 to 5 hours to complete in its entirety, which means that it's on the lighter side of gameplay in terms of what's going to keep you coming back for more and more. So the main reason I feel that people should pick up this game and probably keep it in their collection is, of course, the multiplayer. In terms of fighting your friends, in terms of fighting online, the game is good enough to give you that sense of one-upsmanship with different combat techniques, such as the juggle mechanics, the environmental kills, the wager system, which allows you to break the combat up in certain circumstances if you're finding yourself on the wrong end of an ass-kicking or two. To emphasise this point, however, I thought another playthrough was in order, so making another return to the Halcyon show, except for on his Razor debut this time, I present to you two grown men playing a fighting game. Hello and welcome to Halcyon Razor review. This week, Cameo! Check this shit out! He's back!
How you doing?
We're going to be doing Injustice, since the second one's going to be released very, very shortly. We thought we'd have a playthrough of the original. This guy's already lost twice.
Oh man.
He's got his own end now, so we're going to see how things go with a run through. Totally random for me, so... Oh, fucking hold on. I'm not looking. So anyway, literally have no idea. I just whooped his ass with Flash and Deathstroke. Now, in fairness, I did spam the guns with Deathstroke because this fucker knows how to use environmentals and I don't. Right, so, key elements of the game. What would you say are the things that you don't like?
You spamming, basically. The same move.
The game, not me.
Okay, yeah, so being able to shoot someone from the other side of the thing is just ridiculous. I think. It's a fighting game, you fight up close. You don't run away from the other
just
side of
wait
the
a
map.
minute, you've got Shazam,
Hey.
or whatever his name was, Black Adam. He used electric bolts from across the way.
But when across the way, I was close when I was doing them.
Oh, fine. Anyway, so you've got superpowers, you've got special moves, standard fighting game fare, only that you've got customised characters who have superpowers that are bespoke to them. So, but enough of this description, let's get to the fighting.
Yes.
Let's do it. Where are we fighting?
Gotham. Only one place for it.
Gotham. So you have a fair few arenas, but there's not a million. There's only 25 on this particular edition. There are more DLCs, but again, they're nothing really to write home about. One set intro as well per character. It's a bit shit, don't you think?
For every skin as well. I think every different skin would be.
Well, you just think that they have different intros. It's fucking. It just seems like a simple thing. You get bored of seeing the same thing over and over again.
I think they're customised in the second one though, for each person.
First hit.
Really not sure how this works.
Right, okay, so, fine, I'll school your ass. Right, so if you pause the menu, it'll bring you up a very quick reference move guide. With most of the controls, it's a question of moving the directional pad in the direction that you want and then pressing a button. So, with Batman, for instance, you've got that and then X at the same time. Gives you a straight grapple. What's happening at the moment?
I get beat up.
Yeah, you kind of get So what's happening here is that he's utilising a special move where you'll lose tons of damage, and it's all very scripted and it's bullshit. Basically, it's bullshit. He's now back in the fight when he has no right to go. Right, so you have two different health bars, but instead of resetting for each round, you have one each that runs down. Come on, do it! Ah, yes! Finish him off. This is a good part of the game. These, when they're you doing them. Ah, yes, I figured out how to use them! Oh, he's on the brink!
Oh.
He's missed!
Yeah,
It's gotta be over.
Yeah.
It has to be over. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's hanging on for the environmentals. And it is done!
damn.
You saw it here first. Wales just beat Belgium, and Hawk Girl just beat Batman.
God damn.
So, alright, it's supposed to be a review. Anything else that stands out about the game to you? You didn't want to play this game because you thought you'd get your ass whipped. You've done okay!
I did get my ass whipped. It's very, it's not as fluid as Mortal Kombat, I don't think.
Not as fluid.
I know it's the same game in essence, but it's all very clunky.
Game is clunky. Well, in what way?
So, no Mortal Kombat, you can literally string one move after the other.
Right.
And this is very much one move and then stop and then do one move.
But there
and then
are-
stop and then one move.
There are combos. It's just you suck.
Point taken.
Right. So there's a tutorial mode, but it's not tutorial in the sense where what you can do is you can set the game up so that you can have moves that you want to learn, and you paste them on and you study them and you practice them until you can do them. So press start. Go into move list. So you go into the mentions and then you can tag by pressing Y the moves you want to learn. So these are all super easy ones. So what you want to do is go into the next one.
Okay.
These are the ones you want to learn because these are your bread and butter.
Okay.
So like you can press the Y button if you want to learn that move. And like I say, each character has bespoke powers and abilities that are bespoke to them. And that's why it's important to utilise this training mechanic, because each character will have a different feel to them. So earlier we settled the age-old debate, which is better, Flash or Green Lantern?
Green Arrow.
Time for the battle of ultimate supremacy versus the Flash and Green Arrow. Sure. Do you know what I'm saying? You win it, take all.
Okay.
If you win this, I'll concede.
I'm not going to win this.
Now, this is important because I can't lose to you twice consecutively on my own show.
This is true.
He's got it!
Well, that's game over then.
Well, it might not be.
Oh, that's game over.
It might not be.
What the hell have I got there?
Sorry, I just want you to see this moment. Oh yes. Flash has only gone and won it. The battle I present to you.
It's 1-0.
But instead of having a score like for FIFA, I'll just have games 1-1.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's cool for me.
I can live with that. Okay. Wow. In short, this game is fun to play in short bursts, but I would say still doesn't hold a candle to some of the more established fighters. It's clunky, and at times it's very frustrating in order to pull off the attacks in the way that it feels meaningful and progressive to the fight. And you will find people spamming the environmentals and spamming long-ranged attacks. It's just the nature of the game, it requires more balancing. But on the whole, I would certainly recommend you pick it up because it's a very intense fighter when it's played well, and it's also a great deal of fun settling those old disputes between personal favourites of characters. Go Team Flash! Oh, and be sure to check out the preview to a lot of these E3 trailers that are coming out recently. There's a very good reason why I'm reviewing slightly older games, not only because it's all I have in my library. However, a lot of these games are getting re-released, and I think it's important that we touch base on the originals so that I can give you an adequate look forward to the previews. And in the meantime, please check out the original reviews and some of the old Razor reviews and some of the podcasts. You never know what you might find, and remember to like, share and subscribe to your friends. In any event, thank you so much for watching this episode of Halcyon Razor Review. Next Halcyon Razor Review is probably going to take a little bit longer to come out, as I'm going to focus on the original review. That's going to focus on another game that's very near and dear to me. Until then, thanks a lot for checking out this episode. Please like, share and subscribe if you feel the inclination to do so, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
It's my show.
It's your show. Okay, I'll let you sign off.
So, that was Injustice, and it was terrible.
Okay, you're signing off, right?
That's it.
What's the name of the show?
That's Halcyon.
Wait, Halcyon.
You're damn right.
It's the Razor Review. Come on, you gotta let the people know.
Okay, so that was the Halcyon Razor Review. This was Injustice, and it was terrible.
It was brilliant.
It was terrible.
You should definitely play this if you're his friend. Right. See you next time.
Bye, Mortal Kombat.